Hey guys! Hi! Good to see you. Thanks for joining. Hello everyone. Hey guys, so today I'm going to be talking about count and non-count nouns. So I'll give a minute for everyone to get here and then we'll get started. Thank you, good to see you too. Hello. As you can see, we're in my kitchen today. I hope the echo isn't too bad and that you can hear me well. Okay, one more minute. One more minute. Hello, everybody. Hey, guys. Welcome. Hello, hello, hello. I hope you guys are ready to learn a little bit. Oh, thank you. Muy hermosa. Gracias. Hi. Hello. Okay, I'm about to get started. Today I'm going to be talking about count and non-count nouns, or you can just ask questions. It's going to be very informal. I'm in my kitchen because I have some props. I have some things to show you. So, to demonstrate a little bit about this. Hello everyone, welcome. Good to see you. Hello. Okay, so let's get started. I see a few more people have joined. Let's talk about count and non-count nouns. And just so you know, I am now putting my TikTok lives on YouTube. So that will be there tomorrow. I've been putting them on YouTube with subtitles. That way, if you struggle to understand what I'm saying, or if you want to review, you can look at YouTube tomorrow. It actually takes me a little bit of time to put the subtitles on there. So, you love my eyebrows. Thank you, Rune King. Thank you. Hi, John. Hi. Yes, so tomorrow it will be on YouTube if you would like to, if you don't have time to stay, or if you want to review or see it with subtitles. So, let's get started. So I brought a lot of stuff with me. And I am here to answer your questions, so feel free to ask questions at any time. I will try to answer them. And so essentially, what I'm going to talk about today is count and non-count nouns. I see a lot of people struggle with this. It's one of the first things that I think English learners learn about English, but it's still a real struggle. So I brought some stuff today. Count nouns are nouns that you can count, right? So here's what I mean by that. So I brought some count nouns. So I'm using food today. For example, does anybody know what this is? I have 2 kids, so I have a lot of kid food. These are crackers. So these are a count noun, and that's because we can count them. Okay, so 1 cracker, 2 crackers, 3 crackers, 4 and 5 crackers. So count nouns are nouns that you can add that have a plural form. And most of the time, those plural forms are going to be the S or the ES, like with crackers. Okay, here's an example of a non-count noun. Let's do this one. I see I'm learning English sometimes. It's so hard to talk. The other people don't understand me. Yes, that is hard. Especially, I do have some pronunciation videos if you need some help with that. Sometimes that's a pronunciation issue. So here is an example of a non-count noun. So this is rice. I cannot count rice. It would be really hard to count this rice, right? And so this rice is a non-count noun, which means I can't say one rice, two rices. Okay, rices does not exist. So visually, you can start to see what sort of things are a count noun and what sort of things aren't. We can count rice if we have enough time, but in English, we count grains of rice. We don't count the rice. So, all right, here's another example. Anybody like these? I do. Potato chips. So, can we count potato chips? Yes, we can. 1 chip, 2 chips, 3 chips. So these are a count noun, okay? How about, what else do I have here? Look what else I have. I have wine. Can you count wine? Yes, I like it too. Can you count wine? You cannot count wine. You can count the bottle of wine, right? Here's 1 bottle of wine. Right now I only have 1 bottle of wine, so I'm not going to count more than 1. 1 bottle of wine, yep, we can. 2 bottles of wine, 3 bottles of wine. But the liquid that's inside of it, not so much. So one category of non-count nouns is liquids. So a lot of liquids are going to be non-count. Exactly, we can only count bottles. So wine, milk, water, juice, all of those liquids are non-count nouns. You can't say 1 wine, 2 wines, okay? So that is a big category. Here's another liquid category that I have. I'm almost out. But right here, I have oil. So I have olive oil right here. This is another liquid that I cannot count. I can't say 1 oil, 2 oils. No, it's just oil. Oh, I have one more liquid over here. I have tomato sauce. So I can't count tomato sauce, okay? But I can count the jar of tomato sauce. Let's see, what else do I have? Okay, here's one. Oh no, you're having trouble watching. I'm so sorry. Here are onions. Can I count onions? I can. It's actually quite easy. 1 onion, 2 onion, 3 onions. So I can count onions. Let's see, what else do I have? Oh, But now let's talk about something that's weird, okay? Because some nouns can be both countable and non-countable, okay? So here's an example of that when it comes to food. Coffee. Anybody like coffee here? Coffee can actually be countable or non-countable. It depends. So this is yes, I love coffee too, Emily. Hi, Emily. Good to see you. I love coffee. So coffee is a non-count noun. I can't count coffees. However, I can count coffees if I'm talking about cups of coffee. Oh, another coffee lover. Nika, yes. I can. Actually, in English, we do this all the time. So if I go to a coffee shop, I can say, hey, I want 3 coffees to go. When I say 3 coffees, when I'm adding that plural form, I'm talking about cups of coffee. So sometimes when we talk about coffee, we're talking about it as a non-count noun, and sometimes we're talking about it as in cups of coffee. So that's an example of a non-count noun that can also be countable sometimes. So to make that extra confusing. So let's talk a little bit about grammar. With non-count nouns, we can only use the singular form of the verb. So let me grab another one. Let's see. Let's do rice again. Rice. We have to use the singular form of the noun. Again, it does not have a plural form. So if I'm talking about rice, I have to say the rice is. This looks like more than a singular thing. It really does. But because it's a non-count noun, it's is. Is weather count or non-count? Weather is non-count. We say the weather is good or the weather is, bad. So it is non-count. So again, with non-count nouns, we use the singular form. We cannot add a plural. We can't make it plural. Okay. Let's see. How about oatmeal? Oatmeal. Oatmeal. Is oatmeal a count or a non-count noun? This is from Trader Joe's. Is it a count or a non-count noun? Oatmeal. What do you think? If it helps, I can open it up. So again, is it easy or hard? I'm making a mess over here. But I hear action is good in live. I'm making a mess. So, oatmeal, exactly, it's non-count. Good, good. It's non-count. I see some of you asking some more questions. I definitely want to answer your questions in just a minute, okay? Let me get back to that. Exactly, uncountable, John. Yes, exactly. So the oatmeal is creamy. The oatmeal was delicious. Okay? All right. So there are actually 5 categories of common categories of non-count nouns. So I'm going to I wrote it down with my handwriting because there's no way to present on here. Can you read that? Is that backwards? It's probably backwards, isn't it? Yes, it is. It's backwards. I'll just tell you. So again, if you would like, I'm going to put this on YouTube. on Saturday, and I will put a bunch of this information in there for you in the description if you would like to see it, okay? So there are generally 5 categories of non-count nouns, and here it is backwards. We have food, liquids, ideas, nature, and group nouns. Someone asked earlier, is weather a non-count or count noun? And the answer is it's a non-count noun. Things in nature are often non-count. For example, dirt, grass, rain. What else? Weather. Hail, snow, those different types of weather, those are often non-count. So the snow is beautiful. We don't say snows. We never say snows, okay? Liquids, I showed a bunch of liquid. I showed my wine. We can't count wine. We can count the bottles. Ideas, so I don't have these kind of abstract things that we can't individually count. Those things are often non-count. So for example, love. Love is patient. Okay, love is amazing. We can't count love because it's an abstract thing. Courage. What else? Yeah, any of those feelings. We can't count those. Nature, so ideas. So I'm trying to help you see that there are patterns to this, that there is a way to see if something is a count or non-count noun. It doesn't always work perfectly well, but it can help, okay? Does anyone have any questions about that, about counts and non-count nouns? Or actually just, anything. Let's just ask anything. I hope that helped. Anyone have any questions? Let me look. I saw something earlier. Let's see. A friend of mine is always telling me that speaking is different from writing. I am confused. Okay, yes, so that's kind of a difficult question. So speaking, yes, is different than writing. We have to produce both skills in English, but there are some rules, for example, formal and informal rules about that apply to writing that don't apply to speaking. So one of those, I made a video recently about gonna and going to, or shoulda versus should've. And I said shoulda is great in speaking. It's fine, but you can't write shoulda. So there are different rules. In general, I don't think it's significant. You're welcome. Thank you. Does anyone have any questions about count, non-count nouns? I actually have, it's really, some of the reasons why it's important to understand count, non-count nouns is because they have different rules in grammar. So for example, with uncount nouns, we talk about a little of it. Whereas with count nouns, we talk about a few. If you ask a question about a count noun, it's how many. If you're asking about the quantity, it's how many. With non-count nouns, it's how much. So for example, chips are a count noun. How many chips do you have? You could say, I have 2 chips. I have a few chips. But I can't use those words with non-count. So I can't say, so here's my wine, okay? I can say, I can't ask how many wine. I have to ask how much wine. How much wine do you have? I could say, I can't say few in this case. I have to say a little. I have a little wine. So those words are really important when you're trying to talk about count and non-count nouns to sound accurate. Some nouns can be both countable and uncountable. Yes, absolutely. Here's another example, okay? Here's something that could be countable and uncountable. Hair. That's why I started playing with my hair. Hair can be countable and non-countable, okay? If I'm talking about the hair on my head, this is non-count, okay? This is non-count. I don't talk about my hairs, okay? I talk about my hair. I have brown hair. I don't say brown hairs. However, with hair, if you're talking about strands, if we're talking about strands, it is normal to say, oh, there's, 1 or 2 hairs, okay? That is normal. To say, if I have 1 strand of hair here, 2 strands, I could say 3 hairs. So that's something that's both. Here's another one that's both. Going back to abstract ideas, being non-countable, difficult, vague ideas, being non-countable. Time. Time is both. Because if we're talking about time, like time and space, time as a thing of the universe, you can't travel back in time. That's non-countable. If I'm talking about times that I did something, moments, that's different. I can count that. Does that make sense? Lights. Yes, light is similar to time in that it can be both. Yes, because if I'm talking about light as in, so this room, there is, there's a lot of light in this room. That's non-countable. But if I'm talking about how many light fixtures, for example, right here, I have, a light, and there's a light. I could say lights. I have 2 lights in this room. Yes, light is a great example. Time. What's another? Does anyone know any other ones that are both countable and non-countable? I know. Oh, skin. Skin is another example. Like with, it's similar to the hair thing. So I could talk about my skin, okay? I have very pale skin. Skin is uncountable. It's a non-count noun. If I'm talking about my skin or someone else's skin, that's non-countable. I talk about it that way. If I say skins, for example, my uncle in Montana, I have an uncle in Montana, he is a hunter. And he has a lot of skins in his house. Because I'm talking about animal skins, okay? Art. I'm trying to think of when art might be countable. Arts. Oh, yes. Oh, yes, of course. Like the liberal arts. So art as a subject, lots of subjects are non-countable, by the way. Art, mathematics, physics, economics, these are all non-countable subjects. Art is among them. But if we're talking about multiple types of arts, yes, we could say, my daughter enjoys many arts. For example, maybe music or sculpture, painting. There's a bunch of different kinds of arts. Yep. Does anyone else have any more questions about countable and non-countable? Or any other questions? Let's see, 5 more minutes. I can answer some questions. Again, with non-countable, we use little or a little and not much. So that much word. I don't have much rice. Or I have a little rice. For countable, I have a few onions. I can't say little onions. That doesn't work. It's few, and I can talk about how many onions I have. Not how much, how many. Does anyone else have any other questions for me? You can ask anything. I hope this helped. Thank you so much for the likes. Thank you for joining me today. Let me know your feedback, if there's some, what kind of lives would help you. And of course, you can always send me requests for videos. You can always send me requests. Where are you from? I live in North Carolina. I'm from the USA, and I live in North Carolina, which is on the East Coast. So, right in a couple hours from the beach. So, did you record the session? Yes, the session is recorded. TikTok does it. So, if it's not there, it's TikTok's fault. Any other questions? Any other questions for me before I sign off? Have my full attention. Thank you. You're very beautiful. Thank you. How do you pronounce with some? With some. Does that help? With. The TH, yeah. I did a video on this at the very beginning of TikTok. With some. Faster, with some. Yeah, that sound is very difficult. There's actually 2 versions of it. There's a voiced and voiceless version. So that's a voiceless version. What that means is that you cannot feel your vocal cords turn on in that one. With. But with some other, thanks is another one. Thanks. But there's also a voiced version of that sound. And where my vocal cords do turn on. Like in this. So it's the same movement, but that time I start buzzing. This. Any other questions? Just did a pronunciation question. Anyone else have any questions? Okay, guys. It was a pleasure. Follow me if you haven't already. And I will see you very soon. Bye.